Okay, let's go. Oh, it's time.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Frank Lang. I'm a happy member here and a licensed religious science practitioner. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Sunday morning service at Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. Please take a moment now and turn off your cell phones. And then say hello to 2 or 3 people in your neighborhood. Is the morning chant going to be up here? Okay. Okay, good. All right. All right. This is from C.S. Lewis, courtesy of our Florida correspondent and my good friend Mike Brooker. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body.
Ooh. Wow, that's heavy, Frank.
So, good morning. The words to the morning chant will appear on the wall.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Karyl Huntley, and I just want to welcome all of you who are here for the very first time. I would like to meet each and every one of you personally. I know there are several people already with a rose here. And if you are here for Dr. Terry Cole Whitaker, you've got me today. And I'll explain what happened in my message today, but just you're in the perfect place. So just relax, have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday morning, and please join me in prayer. Let's everybody do that. Good. And with that next breath, allow your awareness to come to that area right around your heart. And moving into prayer, I know that at the center of me is God. And at the center of God, I am. I know that this infinite presence is everywhere, all-knowing and all-powerful. I know it is my home. I know it is my life. I know it is my divine guidance. I know it is my source. I know it is my health. I know it is my supply. I know it is my inspiration. And what I know for myself, I know for each person here. And so in my seeing, my inner seeing, and my inner knowing, I accept for each person an opening. I see and feel and know each heart softening and each mind relaxing, each essence being porous, so porous that where God begins and each one of us ends is indecipherable because it is all one. And so I know that whatever was brought here in a heart or in a mind that feels not so divine is up right now for transformation, for healing, for going beyond, for seeing something different, for choosing anew, for establishing intense well-being in body, mind, and spirit for every single person within the sound of my voice. And so for this I give my thanks. I know it is good and true and right, appropriate, timely. And I release this now into the divine law so that each person may receive the answer to this prayer. And so it is. Amen. Oh my goodness, that was good for me. So I want to welcome this morning a wonderful guest artist that we have. Maya Daniels is giving her beautiful gift of music along with our own Bodhi. So more wonderful gifts for you. Just sit back and receive. Please welcome Maya and Bodhi.
Good morning. It's good to be here on this beautiful, almost summer day, but it feels pretty summery, doesn't it? This is a little song we wrote a couple of days ago just to honor the oneness that we are together. Good to see you, Maya.
Everybody.
How you doing?
All together now.
We are one. We are one.
Choose it now to be one. We are one. We are one. Choose it now to be one.
Now, before we start the song, you think you could sing that with us when we come around to that? I bet you probably could. I know you guys.
We are one. We are one. Choose it now
To be one.
to be one. We are one. We are one. Choose it now to be one. When you feel like life has got you down and you can hold on, stay strong. We are all in this together. You are not alone. We are here for each other. We are one. We are one. We are one. Choose it now to be one. We are one. We are one. Choose it now to be one. Open your heart to the grand design. Let divine inspiration flow through you. You are all that you need to be. You have the power to live your dreams. Ooh. We are one, we are one, we are one. Choose it now to be one.
To be one.
We are one. We are one. Choose it now to be one. Look inside yourself. Feel the space around you. Where do you begin? Where do you end? We all need each other. We are sisters and brothers. You're the same as me, my friend. We are one. We are one. Choose it now to be one. We are one. We are one. Choose it now to be one. Choose it now to be one. Choose it now to be one.
Thank you for joining us. That was great.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. My name is Janet Carol Ryan, and I am your practitioner of the morning, and it's my joy to share good news of things that are occurring in this community, and we always begin with a grateful heart. And so I especially want to acknowledge our extended community, that folks that are viewing us on the internet. Let's all wave to our brothers and sisters and friends in our extended community. Everyone, tell your friends you're all invited to tune in. And we now bless the children. And I particularly want to offer a blessing to our sweet Shayna, a young lady seated there that has been a member of this community since before she was born. Shayna has an important audition tomorrow. She's singing and is seeming to experience something blocking her voice. So let's just put up our blessing hands to beloved Sheena. Thank you for being who you are, and we know that the voice of the divine is fully alive within you and prepared for your audition tomorrow. We love you. Thank you for being here. And to all of our children, off you go to your lesson. Thank you. Bless you. Today, this evening, Reverend Brent will be opening his home for a singles potluck. So take this opportunity to connect with your community in a loving way in a beautiful home of Reverend Brent. Is anyone here that has information on that or representing that event? Well, that's all right, because the details are in your bulletin. Canceled. Oh, all right then. We'll flow into something new.
Okay.
Worry not. You have another opportunity to connect at Reverend Sarah's monthly spiritual extra edge. This is coffee and conversation Thursday morning at the Il Fornaio restaurant. Again, details are in your bulletin. And we have a very, very special series of workshops and events that are being presented by a group called Ahowan, Awakening Humanity to Oneness with All Nature. They've received a grant to travel the country. They're going to 50 states over a 52-week period, and they're delivering a message of peace. It will be an experiential, interactive weekend. Let's see, what do we say here? Good for families, people with pets, people with gardens, people who interact with other living forms. Sounds like just about all of us, eh? Reverend Karyl says this is an incredibly loving and conscious pair of teachers, and they're good, she says. So come and become a more inspired earthling.
Children and pets are
Children
welcome.
and pets are welcome. And I learned today that one can choose any one of their offerings. In other words, you don't have to go for the whole weekend. So pick up a flyer, take a look at what they're offering, and jump in. A love offering. Okay. How many of you have been to the yearly Asilomar gathering of United Centers for Spiritual Living? Oh my gosh, so have I, and it is so glorious. It is a week-long immersion in spiritual practice, play, education, connection, where religious scientists and New Thought folks from all over the world come and play by the beach at Asilomar. The early registration, early bird discount has been extended to June 17th, so this is a wonderful opportunity to play and pray together. I think I covered it, and now I'm going to ask Reverend Karyl to come up for her special announcements.
Well, I asked to speak about, this is an announcement, not the talk, about Reverend Donald Graves, who will be here on July 1st. We're actually trading pulpits. So I am going to Arizona on July 1st, and he's coming here. Let's see. But I just want to tell you that Reverend Don is a personal friend of mine, and he is great. He's funny, he's wise, and he's doing a workshop on relationships, and he's one of those people who has had relationships as his major learning lodge in his life. And so he has done a great deal of work on his own heart in relationships. And so he's going to, I know, be covering romantic relationships and friend relationships and colleague relationships. And so I really encourage you to first come for service and then stay for the workshop. And just know that for me, I will bring cooler weather to Arizona, because he laughed and said, "Come on over, Karyl, it's been 113. So So anyway, and then just to close down the announcements, once again, for those of you that I don't know, I would love to meet you after the service. And I hope that your time here is surprisingly fabulous. That you have arrived here at the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, and you, at the end of the morning, say, "My gosh, I found a new spiritual home." That's what I am hoping for. So now I want you to look at this wonderful altar by Sandra Aguirrebede. And this is about our subject today, which is soar above appearances. And we have a little hummingbird that's soaring. And then we have many, many symbols on the altar of where the appearance on the outside may be plain, but the experience on the inside is fabulous. And so that's, and then the appearance of this little cactus item here is prickly, but then also gorgeous. So just spend some time at the altar and see all of those symbols that Sandra has given to us. So now, Terry Cole Whitaker. Terry was going to be our speaker and do a workshop this afternoon. And this week, she got word from a grown daughter in Los Angeles that this daughter was very ill. And so Terry lives somewhere up north, either in Oregon or Shasta or somewhere around there. And so Terry was driving to Southern California, gathering her daughter and bringing her back to her home. So we're going to do a wonderful treatment for Terry's daughter at the end of my talk. But so that's what's happened with Terry. And so I've known Terry since very long ago. I think it was, I'm trying to think, it's one with a zero, and I think it was 1970 that I actually got to know her. So we have a long history, and I love her very much, and she was going to stay at my house, and so I'm sure that's going to happen again. But what happens for ministers when they put forth a topic for the talk, I know it happens to me, and I think it's happening for Terry, is that we get to live the talk before we give the talk. And so her talk title was Soar Above Appearances. And so she is now practicing soaring above the appearance of the sickness of her daughter and seeing her daughter's perfected state. And that's what we do as metaphysicians. So I get to give Terry's talk, and we will reschedule Terry, not to worry. So my talk title this morning is Soaring Above Appearances, and the word for today is transcend. So for those of you who are not aware of our yearly theme, it's Tools for Transformation, represented by the tree. Every week we have a word that helps us. It's a tool. It's a tool for making our life new. And the idea is that we take this word into our spiritual practice, and we think of affirmations and actions that we can contemplate and then act upon so that we transform, because there's a difference between thinking about something and actually thinking through it and living through it. And so today we are going to be living through the transformative word of transcend, which means, of course, going beyond appearances or rising above appearances. So what's an appearance? An appearance is something that appears to us, right? It is something that we sense or see, and it is something that we notice. An appearance is in the world of form. We can actually say, this is appearing to me. And we are drawn out of ourselves by appearances. We hear something and we are drawn out. We see something and we are drawn out. It's something that feels other than us, which is one of the things that makes it so mysterious and troublesome sometimes. Because, not all appearances need to be transcended. I mean, I'm appearing to you now, you're appearing to me now. We don't need to transcend these things. It's a good thing. But if we notice something and the appearance makes us feel limited or negative, if the appearance troubles us in some way, if it is depressing, or if it suggests to us that we need to judge ourselves or another harshly, if it is an appearance that leads us to the conclusion there's something wrong here, or even if it leads us to the assumption that this is as good as it gets, that is an appearance that we can go beyond. So before I go any further into my talk, we have an example right here with us of a great transcendent example. So I'd like to ask Johanna Hughes to come forward. This woman has gone beyond appearances and has transcended something that could have been worrisome. Yeah.
This time, 2 weeks ago, I was in the hospital with an IV and oxygen and diagnosed with an acute cardiovascular accident, which I now experience as a little episode. I have transcended, I am soaring. It's been 2 weeks. And I want to tell you that I felt you with me. I felt possibility. I felt that I was not bounded by the situation or the condition. And I see every face here has walked with me. So the point is, we are bigger, we are more open into possibility than you ever thought possible. And the oxygen was great.
Beautiful, beautiful. So in the textbook, I'm going to read to you from the glossary the definition of appearance. The word appearance is used in this textbook to distinguish that which seems to be from that which actually is. Negative thinking may produce conditions which appear to be true, but these results have no power, no reality, except as given power by our believing that the appearance is the actuality. Disease, discord, and limitation have no spiritual prototypes. These are false manifestations which have objectified in the body or in the affairs of human life. So what I want us to remember is the distinction between what seems to be and what actually is. Because negative appearances are kind of imposters. They lead us to the experience of separation instead of oneness, like we've been praying and singing about this morning. They lead us to an experience of doubt and fear and unhappiness, when what actually is the perfect life of God, lacking nothing. What actually is this perfect life that is made manifest in many, many, many examples. And we're going to sing a wonderful song about this at the offering, and you know it. It's there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. The melody is a little bit better than I just attempted, but you get. Bodie will be playing for us, and we'll all do great. So that's the truth. There is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now, and that life is in and through all circumstances around me. So what actually is oneness. And if we are in a situation that tempts, it's an imposter, but it tempts us to feel doubt or separation, even that path leads us to the infinite presence, the source, because all paths lead to the infinite presence and the infinite source. So love is real, peace is real, right action is real, that divine life-giving qualities of joy, peace, power, light, life, abundance, creativity, supply, all of those are real. That's what actually is. And all of those qualities are actually, we call them spiritual prototypes because there is an absolute essence of love. In the unformed realm, there's an essence of love, and then many, 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 many examples of love in your life. You could just list them off. Peace is a prototype. And then there are many, many, many examples of peace in our life. So when we notice something that leads us or tempts us into a state, a felt state that's unlike these spiritual prototypes, that's when we need to soar above them. And this is really a good use of a practitioner. You could actually go to a practitioner and say, I'm in this condition that does not feel good. I feel separate and unhappy, and I want the spiritual prototype that would heal this, and the practitioner will help get you there. That's what they're absolutely trained to do. So I have an example, of course, from one of the best practitioners, Reverend Lloyd. Those of you who don't know Reverend Lloyd, he's the founder of this community and all of our teacher. So Reverend Lloyd recently visited, actually he was back east visiting Raymond Charles Barker's old partner. Raymond Charles Barker is passed on, but his partner is living, an older gentleman. And Lloyd went back to visit him and do some care there. And he was, that was in Vermont. And so he was flying back from Vermont, and he was sitting on one of those center aisles. It was a big, wide plane. He was in the center section, I think, sitting on an aisle, and he was underneath the first aid equipment. So there was a condition, there was an appearance, there was a situation that happened a few rows back. And there was a woman who looked like she was having a heart attack or a seizure or something. And they laid her out in the aisle, and they were stepping on Lloyd's armchair, the arm of his seat, to get to the first aid stuff. So here were these, flight attendants kind of trying to avoid Lloyd and step on the arm and get the first aid equipment, and everybody was very, very tense. And they were saying, excuse me. And Lloyd said, I'm going to try to channel Lloyd now. He said, it's all right. All of the infinite power for right action and perfect outcome is right where that commotion is. I mean, he was facing forward. This thing was behind him. He could feel the upset. And he just said, all of the infinite power of God is right there. Well, they got doctors. They settled the lady down. She wasn't having a heart attack. They did whatever they did. She sat up. She was fine. They didn't go back to Vermont. And they went on. And then every single one of the flight attendants that was caring for this person came and they hunkered down by Lloyd, and they thanked him. They thanked him for just spreading the balm of peace over that entire situation. Every single one of them thanked him. And then they started giving him little things, little sandwiches and little bottles of gin, and they would go by and they would just drop some things in his lap. And then he got word that he was going to get a commendation from American Airlines. So this is from him soaring above appearances and speaking the prototype of peace and well-being. We can all do that. I mean, Reverend Lloyd's had lifetimes of training, but we can do that. And I'm going to tell you how, okay? So our lesson here, that's the word transcend, and then our lesson is about creating beyond appearances. And I have a little acronym, not acronym, a little old-fashioned acronym from the word soar, so you can remember it, okay? Because we're soaring above appearances, right? So this is what you do. Everybody can do it. We first of all center in spiritual principle or a spiritual quality. And this means we turn away from the appearance and we focus on what the spiritual principle is. Now, if you don't know any spiritual principles, here's 3 examples. All thought is creative. God is everywhere present all the time, and there is only one power. Those are statements of 3 principles, but there are many. There are many in this book here. There are many in every book in our bookstore, and there are spiritual principles in every class that we offer. So if you want to, and we have lists of spiritual principles that we hand out to you. So if you want a spiritual principle to call upon, just get more active and you'll have lots more spiritual principles. Then the qualities, I've named some of them: love, peace, joy, abundance, life expression, balance, supply, all of that. So what you do is you look at the appearance and it feels, and then you go instantly to the spiritual principle that you want to activate in your own mind and heart. You go instantly to the quality of life that you want to activate in your own awareness. And instead of focusing on the appearance, you think of the principle or the quality behind it. See, that's very, very important, because appearance, it's essential that you do this because of what I said before. Appearances are imposters. And not only are they imposters, they're seductive. They call to us. They say, oh, look how horrible I am. Look how bad this is. And, in the Bible, I think, that's what it means by "get thee behind me, Satan." And I know that Buddha said something exactly like that to Maya, who was a different Maya, who was seducing him into appearances. And that's when he sat under the Bodhi tree and said, "I'm going to sit here until I am self-realized." Oh, my God! I love that. Okay, great, excellent. So got that. All right. Then, when you're centered in spiritual principle, you open to possibilities. Not just one possibility. You don't say, well, really, what I really want instead of this appearance is this. You open to goodness. You open to the expression and experience of that quality. So, remember last year, those of you that were here last year, we had that wonderful saying throughout the year, much, much more is possible than... Let's try that again. Much, much more is possible than I ordinarily think. That's where you go in consciousness. And then you anticipate with joy. You actually imagine, well, you don't even imagine, you just step into this state of, there is going to be something that shows up that's better than anything I could imagine. And that's where you sit, and that's where you stay. And then R, of course, is release. You don't worry about it. You don't try to outguess God. You don't say, God, why haven't you changed this yet? You just, that's where this term, let go and let God, comes from. This gets us away from dealing with appearances and worrying about them. Because even when we do spiritual work around appearances, there's 2 possibilities, and neither one of them are as good as it can get. The 2 possibilities when you look at appearances is, you say, if you don't like the appearance, you say, I want the opposite. If you kind of like the appearance, you say, I want more of it. But you're still focusing on that appearance. Do you see what I mean? And there could be something that is so much better. So much better. So I have a fun story from the journey that we just got back from a week ago. Actually, Gail is here this morning. Louise is here this morning from the journey to France and England. And so this is a story, one of my stories. My daughter, Melanie, who's 19, she wanted me to bring her back a gargoyle. And you know, a gargoyle is one of those kind of scary carvings of mythical beasts, or sometimes it's a combination of beasts or a combination of humans and beasts that stick out from the cathedrals, and they're actually water spouts to channel the water away from the building, but also they are created scary so that they scare away evil spirits, you know. That's what we used to believe about. But anyway, Melanie loves these gargoyles, and she wanted one. She wanted something. So if I looked at that, if I took that as a condition or an appearance, I could have spent my entire trip looking for the perfect gargoyle. And I could have, every time I found one, I could have thought, is this too much money? Is this too heavy for me to take back? Is this too big? Is this too common? Is this, you know, could we get this online, you know, at gargoyles.com? I don't know. So Melanie had actually helped me, because she texted me over there, and here's what she said. She didn't know she was giving me the qualities, but this is her exact words. Nothing too touristy, just a little creepy and pretty. So I can go with that as a principle, creepy and pretty, and God can too. And so I opened to possibilities. I anticipated the greatest thing for my daughter, and I released it. So we were up at Sacre-Cœur, which is an amazing church on one of the highest points in Paris. Sacre-Cœur means Sacred Heart. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful church, and this mountain that it's on kind of flattens out behind the church. And behind the church is a whole community of artists. And as you go around looking at the gargoyles on the church, you are accosted by these artists with their pads wanting to draw your face. And they have many, many examples of faces that they have drawn, and there's scads of them. So you can look at what they've done and decide what style you like and ask somebody to draw your face. Well, I did not need a drawing of my face, let me tell you that. But this idea came directly from God. And I said to the one who spoke no English, can you draw the gargoyle? And he goes, oh, this church? And then I went, and somehow he got it. And so he said, which one? And I pointed it out. So now you can't tell because she's coming home next week, but I just want you to see if you think this is kind of creepy and pretty. Now, this is a signed original. There is never another one like it. No other tourist has this. And how could I have envisioned that this is what I want? I couldn't. It's God. I put out those qualities, or Melanie put out those qualities, not touristy, creepy, and pretty.
Not too heavy.
And it's not too heavy. And exactly right. So that's what you do. That's all you do. You open to the perfection of God, going first to the qualities. So before we close, I want to, as I was finishing up this talk, I reread that any appearance that leads us to the conclusion that something is wrong here, or there is a limit to the good that I can experience, we want to turn away from. I do not want any of you to think that we live in a philosophy that ignores human suffering or the suffering of any living being, that if we just turn our back, it will go away. That is not the essence of turning from the condition and knowing the spiritual principle, because that's kind of like an ostrich mentality. If I stick my head in the sand, then nothing bad will ever happen to me. So what we do is that we see the peace within the conflict. We see the love within the hatred. We realize that there is healing that needs to happen on this planet. But we also see the path to that healing. Can you feel the difference? Because if you just look at the appearance and talk about how awful, how awful, how awful it is, then that will be magnified, and that's what you'll end up with. That's what the creative process will go to work on, and you will have more and more and more of that misery. If, however, you say, within this misery, I know there is the seed of peace. I know there is the seed of love. I know there is the seed of connection, and I am going to bring it forth. Before I got too warm today, I was wearing a little shawl. It's in the kitchen. I'll show it to you. It's Palestinian. It's black and white, Palestinian. And this pendant is Israeli. And I wear them together always as my statement about peace in the Middle East. Because I know it's possible. I know there are friends that are Israeli and Palestinian. I know there are lovers that are Israeli and Palestinian. I know that there are Israelis and Palestinians that want peace more than they want to be right. I know this, and that's what I think about. That's what I think about when I put that black and white Palestinian shawl on, but I just couldn't stand it this morning. So you see the difference? We are not ostriches. We see where healing needs to happen, and we call forth the spiritual principle and the divine qualities that are inherent there, because the power of God is everywhere present in its fullness, just like on that airplane from Vermont. So as we go into the inner work, I would like to do a prayer with you for Reverend Terry's daughter. I want all of our consciousness to be focused on the healing of this woman. And in this prayer also, if there is a healing that wants to take place in your life, there will be ample space for you to accept it for yourself as well. So when we think about a prayer for a particular purpose, we think about the principle. So the principle that I'm praying into is right action of all physical systems. I am praying into divine intelligence operating in her body, and the qualities that I am calling forth, that I am focusing on in my mind, because when we treat, we only treat our own consciousness. So I am going to be treating with I. I'm speaking about me and my consciousness. And as you hear it, what you say in your consciousness is, I believe this too, I believe this too, I believe this too. Or I accept this for myself too. That's how it works. Okay, let's go into this wonderful creative process that we have been taught as spiritual mind treatment. And in reality, it is knowing the highest and greatest truth about any circumstance, condition, or appearance that is before us. And so this is a treatment for Reverend Terry Cole Whitaker's daughter. It is not necessary to know her name or even where she is, because God definitely knows. And so in our own heart and mind, we hold the essence of this young woman, because all being one, we do know her. And so I know that God, the good, is all there is. I know the infinite source is everywhere in its unlimited potential and outpictured in every life, in every form, in every circumstance that I see. I know there is life divine in and through everything. I know this life is perfect in that there is nothing else to want. It holds everything. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God, because that is all there is God in form. As I look in the mirror, I see the face of God, because I am God in form. I am God in activity. I am God in form. I am God in potential. In and through my body is the beautiful divine intelligence of God, regulating every system to perfect health. And so I bring into my awareness Terry Cole Whitaker's daughter. Beautiful, whole, complete, and perfect. I know that with this woman, the divine intelligence is in and through every cell of her body. I know that the divine intelligence knows what to do to regulate every system, every organ, every activity, the myriad, millions and millions of activities that goes on within a human body. I know that God is attendant on all of them, and God is right where this young woman is. I further know that God is in every single ministration that Terry gives to her precious one. I know that healing love pours from Terry's eyes. I know that healing love radiates from her hands. I know that the food that is prepared for her daughter is rejuvenating, clean, and nourishing. I know that the environment in which both these women dwell is filled with the love of God. I know that the healing potential is right there where each one is, and I know that this potential is outpicturing in the actual vitality and health of both women. And I know this also for each person here or anyone within the sound of my voice, that the natural vitality of each body, in order to be a perfect host for that essence, that soul living its life purpose, is exactly what is happening. I see each cell radiating with the love of God. I see all systems glowing and operating perfectly. I know that everything that physically goes on in each body is for the divine purpose of that life, and it is all good. I know that this work is good. I know that this work is true. I know that the activity of God is the only power at work in Reverend Terry, in her daughter, in myself, and in all who hear my voice. I release this prayer now with absolute faith that the Word of God, as spoken through me, is being made manifest even now. I release this now and know it is done. And so it is. Amen.
and you are me. Only by love will we find love. Only by love will we be free. Only by love will we be one. Only by love will you feel me. Only by love will we find love. Only by love will we be free. Only by love will we be one. Only by love will you feel me. By love, only by love, only by love, only by love.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we're going to sing that wonderful song because it's offering time. So if the ushers would get poised in the back of the room and all of us can prepare our tithes and offerings. When we pass the baskets, many of you put in little cards that say, I've already pledged. That means with those folks, they have let us automatically take money out of their banking account for offering purposes. And it makes everything so easy for everyone. If you would like to do that, you just need to call the office, but that's what's happening with those little cards. They are usually significant, lovely donors to our community, and so you can do that too if you would like. But whatever you give this morning, and I'm speaking to you also out there on the web, you can just go right here and click donate, and we'll walk you right through it. The gift that you have for this community, if it's in physical form, just place it near your heart. And if the gift that you have for this community is automatically taken from an account somewhere, and if that gift includes service, and if that gift includes prayer, if that gift includes you thinking lovingly often of your spiritual community, just hold all of those gifts in your heart. So the gifts are in your heart or near your heart. And then think of that beautiful song that was just sung about having love by loving. And so infuse all of these gifts with that activity of the heart, which is love. And then prepare to give with absolute joy. Blessed be.
There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one
That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's
Only one life. So with that one life that includes the giving, the receiving, the gifts, that one life that includes the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, all of us here, all of those we love, all of those on the web. We feel that connection, that oneness, that blessing, the unlimited resource that our source is, and know how good life is. And so it is. Well, next week is very special. It's Father's Day. And many of you are fathers, but you know what I know? All of us had one or have one. And so the men are going to be doing the altar for Father's Day. And so if you have a picture of your dad, if you have a symbol of your dad, if you have something that is precious to you that reminds you of that divine being, however troublesome he is or was, that divine being that was the agent of you coming into this world, please bring it 15 minutes before the service. That's 9:45, so that the men can just make this altar perfect for us, okay?
And that's when the drumming starts.
Oh, the drumming starts at 1:15, so you'll all want to be here. And bring your friends, bring your dads, and now I'd like the practitioners to come forward. These are the beloved ones who can take you beyond appearances. And Janet's going to do that right now as she prays us out.
And inviting the rest of the practitioners who are present to encircle the room with your love. As we just dive into this great and glorious sea of oneness, connection, unity, harmony, love, I know that we are each transcendent this day for having been here to hear the words of our beloved senior minister, Reverend Karyl, to receive the gift and blessing of this glorious music, the prayers of our practitioners, and the presence of each and every beloved being in this community, here present physically in this room and beyond. And I know that with love all things are possible, that knowing this truth, we soar above appearances and see ourselves as the magnificent, brilliant creation of the life force that we are. And we go forth into our world and into our week as representatives of the light and the love and the truth that we are. And so ignited in this, we light the spark in others, and the world is transformed by our love. And so I know this blessing goes beyond and beyond and beyond, and circles back to return to each one of us, laden with gifts and blessings. And so I let it be, and so it is. Blessed be.
If you would all stand now for our affirmation and closing song. Affirmation right up here. In co-creating my experience of life, I go beyond appearances to that which actually is. What is God. Perfect divine life in myriad expressions is the eternal truth in which I dwell,